One of the most iconic comic strip characters of all time is getting a brand new animated film that is releasing in theaters this weekend, and I am really excited to talk about this movie because, well, it really stinks. Let's get into the review. Welcome back, film fans. It is Brad from Let's Be Real Brad. I talk about movies, TV shows, and other movie-related content. So if that sounds super awesome, then be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, as you should, and ring that notification bell so I can always see you in a new video. The Garfield movie is the third theatrically released Garfield film after the two live-action films from 2004 and 2006, which I have so happened to watch growing up. This film stars Chris Pratt and Samuel L. Jackson in the lead roles. After unexpected reunion with his long-lost father, scruffy stray cat Vic, Garfield and his canine friend Odie are forced into joining Vic in a hilarious high-stakes heist. Before seeing the Garfield movie, I had low expectations for it, as the trailers for this film made it look very child-friendly, and I get it. It's about Garfield. It's based on a comic strip. It's all nice and fun. It's targeted toward kids, but the trailers for this film look so bad that I felt like it was talking very low to children and basically saying, hey, you guys like Garfield, right? Let's just throw this IP together and make a product, not a piece of art, a product together with a ton of product placements within it, and it doesn't actually gonna feel like a Garfield movie. It truly feels like that Alcott Entertainment, who's the producer of this film, got a script for an animated film and was like, hey, this sounds really boring and generic. What if we put Garfield in it, because it will sell tickets and we can use the script and we can save money because we don't have to rewrite a new script for Garfield, and we can try to make a new Garfield franchise. That is just so terrible. And then you're making a film about Garfield going with his long lost dad, which is a cool concept, but then it just doesn't feel like Garfield. One of the biggest issues I have with this film is with the product placement. They can actually see in one of the trailers when Garfield's trying to get into the fridge and there's a bag of Olive Garden there, and I knew that this movie was going to go downhill. And this movie also has Walmart, FedEx, and a bunch of other random product placements that I probably didn't even catch or don't even remember at this point. I hate product placement in movies, especially for animated films that are targeted toward children. While I don't think this is one of the worst films of the year, I do think this is a very soulless cash grab type of movie that kids will probably enjoy if they're a lot younger. If you're around 10 or 11 years old, you might think this movie is a sort of lame. This movie feels very manipulative, especially in the more emotional scenes that it has between Garfield and his father, or just random moments throughout this movie. And it's just trying to make you feel so sad because, whoa, look at Garfield, he's a little baby, oh, he's hungry. Like, shut up. Probably one of the biggest issues I have with this film has to be with the humor, because my goodness, this is one of the least funny animated films I have seen in quite some time. And I know there are jokes here and there that are targeted toward the children, because I'm just going to get that in the comments like I usually do when I cover an animated film that's targeted demographically for children in its marketing. You have to admit that a lot of the jokes in this movie are just not funny. This film is really trying to connect with that Gen Alpha audience, but it's just not working when you have the characters like Garfield use a cell phone. It's like, haha, it's funny because Garfield has a cell phone and he's calling deliveries. And finally, my last issue with this film is with the voice acting of Chris Pratt as Garfield. There are moments in this movie where I do feel Chris Pratt is really trying to nail his Garfield voice. It just sounds like Chris Pratt trying to be Garfield the entire film. Samuel L. Jackson voices Garfield's dad Vic, and I thought he was okay, but it does feel like he's just phoning it in for a paycheck, because I'm not really getting that classic Samuel L. Jackson voice acting that he can do. Surprisingly, I have a few positives with this film, and I have to start with the character designs, because if you didn't watch a trailer for these movies at all and you just saw the poster and some of the images from this movie, you probably want to go see it, because it does look like Garfield and Odie and all the other characters that you love from this universe. And the final positive I have with this film, this is a really easy to watch type of movie that's an hour and a half that you can bring your kids to the movie theaters and they'll have a great time with it, and it's just something to do. I am giving the Garfield movie a 4 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen the Garfield movie and are you planning on checking it out this weekend? I would love to hear all your thoughts. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.